As I am a big fan of rally games, I decided to extend my push-pull shifter setup with a complementing single magnetic paddle. It is designed after the paddles you can find in the current Rally 1 Ford Puma car. In the download files you will find both designs for the paddle, the one on the shifter and the one on the steering wheel. Hi, I am Stujo and welcome to my garage. In general, this paddle is supposed to be mounted on the rally steering wheel near its center. Why I decided to make it static I will explain in the conclusion of this video. Now let's take a quick look at assembling it. The auxiliary switch is based on my latest shifter design, so it's basically the same, just with smaller footprint. It again is tuned to have short throws, so you have to bend the switch arm as shown here. It was designed to have the smallest vertical height, so I rotated the switch horizontally. I'm assembling the switch here with a side bracket, but I included in the download files a side plate allowing it to be mounted on flat surfaces on a steering wheel plate. Using this side plate gives you about 24 mm of total height, which is still quite very low profile switch. The current project features the same hardware as my latest version 3 paddle shifters. It's based around 15 mm in diameter magnets and 20 mm long aluminum struts. All is held together with 10 3mm screws and these nice looking aluminum washers that I'm using in most of my projects. Important step in this initial assembly is to assemble switch only and tighten both side plates so they press into place. Next, let's mount the side plates that will hold the paddle shifter on the face of the wheelbase. After removing both screws on one side, you place the side bracket and mount it with the pivot screw in the center. Next goes the top retention screw, which doubles as angle adjuster, and then you switch to the other side. Here we are relying on a 14 mm long cam-free screws, but if you are building the standalone flat-mounted version you have to use something shorter. 10 to 12 mm countersunk screws should work in this case with the washers well. This paddle switch was designed to accompany my push-pull paddle shifter, so it has the same angle adjusting bracket and the quick release. Until now you watched how I assembled the first prototype, which was used to measure all the offsets, positioning and the travel of the switch. Now let's take a look in the quick release used in this project. I tested several lengths and the most comfortable one for me was the longest included in the download file. The QR system uses the same lock clip as my push-pull paddle shifter. The QR extension arm features M3 heat brass inserts and here I am using the shifter paddle. If you prefer to be more close to reality and also mount this on a steering wheel, you will find the other paddle design in the files as well. This concludes the assembly of the unit. It has quite steep angle as I prefer it to be close to the steering wheel center. Switch throw is little bigger than I prefer, so we'll tackle this in the next section. After some testing and consideration, the paddle switch got the same treatment as my other shifter projects. Lever throw was reduced as much as possible and now it has also great feedback. You can use this convenient bottom plate to mount the whole assembly somewhere on flat surface. I also extended the QR arm to a total of 50 mm, which gives me the correct offset and also when removed gives me enough clearance for any steering wheel. This of course lengthens the travel of the paddle, but even at this extension it still feels nice. Using only 2 magnets I get about 400 grams of shift force, which is also quite comfortable. Now let's take a quick look at the quick releases used in my rally coaster. The shifter and the auxiliary paddle more or less have the same quick release, which is quite stable. Up till now, for the static paddle I even didn't have to use the lock clip. The display unit features quite tight clip, but I am considering to change it for magnets for easier use. Yet again it's stable as a rock. The display unit is only 3.5 inches in size, but positioned like this, it gives me the perfect view through the top part of my steering wheel. And now as a background I will use this non-related footage from WRC Generations taken in dry conditions, so naturally I didn't have to use my windscreen wipers. This static paddle is not something that you will find in a real rally car, but I needed it so I am able to drive with steering wheels without any buttons on them. As I mentioned multiple times, I don't have much use of buttons on a steering wheel. The only button I really use is for my windscreen wipers in both Dirt Rally 2 and WRC Generations. The ability to trigger a quick windscreen wipe is very important in rally, and this is exactly what the button behind the steering wheels in the real cars does. This adds not only immersion but also is very important function in both games because the automatic wipers don't work so well. For all other controls I have dedicated hardware, and I also have my navigation control box, which is quite handy all around. I also have several DIY displays with built-in buttons and encoders which take care of the rest. I modeled everything around my rally steering wheel, which is the main one I use, and everything is perfectly offsetted and very comfortable to use. I recently redid all my other steering wheels so they have almost the same offset like this wheel, so everything fits perfectly with all the wheels I am using. The switch itself is modeled around my latest shifter, so it uses the same hardware. It features exactly the same mechanical feel and strength, but it's more of a mid-stroke switch. I wanted to make it as minimalistic as possible, so this led to some compromises. The throw with the extended quick release is a little on the longer side, but still allows me to make a very quick consecutive shifts. Used with a short paddle directly mounted on the switch, it works quite good. This would be the mechanism I will be using in my future projects to add the auxiliary paddle on the back of the wheel near its center. The whole mechanism being so small, it will allow me with a shorter QR to mount an additional button which can exist with a steering wheel with paddles. This particular design has a lot of room for improvement, so stay tuned for more development on this project. And now, last but not least, the use of quick releases all around plays a big part here. I am able to switch quickly between setups and enjoy driving different type of cars. Also, I am planning on building several different display units, so I will be able to quickly switch between them for different applications. As you can see here, both mechanisms provide enough clearance to use other steering wheels with the built-in paddles in the back. Keeping all my steering wheels roughly at the same offset allows me to have perfectly aligned cockpit in every use case. Thank you for watching, and hope this project would be useful for you and you had fun with my short video. Bye, I'm Stuyo and see you next time.